Call to order the regular meeting on May 13th, 2024 at 6:02 p.m. At this time, Commissioner Mendenhall will do the invocation. Thank you.
Like to stand, please. Almighty Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight knowing that you know all things. Father, we ask that you will be with this group tonight and be with the commissioners. We ask for thy wisdom, thy guidance, thy leadership. We know that you will take us through this meeting and that each and every person that would like to speak will have that opportunity. And we also ask that you guide our group tonight. It is so good to see this large of turnout. Many things on the agenda tonight of importance. Each and every person here tonight has a reason and a rationale for their being here. So now, Father, I ask you to go with this meeting, guide, lead, and direct us. All these things I ask in thy precious name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any comments, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we have a public hearing scheduled. It's proposals received for lease or purchase of Stokes Reynolds Memorial Hospital. Before we start calling names, we got one sign-up sheet that was for the actual public hearing, which is on the hospital. Then we got our regular public comment sign-up sheet for the regular meeting. There's some people that are on there 2 times, which is fine. If you want to speak 2 times, no problem. But I just want to make sure that if you signed up on the public comment section, but you really just wanted to talk at the first of the hearing, to let us know. If your main goal is to talk about the hospital.
Just do a roll call. See.
Well, we'll just go through it. We'll just go through it. All right. First up is Julie Farmer. And before you start, also, it's a 4-minute time, and you'll get a warning, and then I'll let you complete your sentence, and then we'll have to move on. Thank you.
Well, as you know, I'm Julie Farmer, and we have come to the board before because out of concern for Stokes Reynolds Hospital, being a frontline caregiver and in the business for over 30 years, I do feel that we definitely need a hospital, and I would be all for one in King as well. The more the merrier. However, looking north of the mountain and knowing that every soul matters, I do feel strongly that something needs to be maintained in the centralized location of Danbury, especially in regards to the long-term care beds. This is not just a hospital, this is their home. And we need to recognize it as such. And when you look at the big picture and where our numbers are going from a growth standpoint and our demographics, we need to also be considering what the future might need in as far as other levels of care with long-term care, whether it be an adult daycare, independent living, assisted living, and which would complement the skilled beds and the critical access hospital that is here in Danbury. And again, I would think that this location also serves well those who may get injured on the mountain, drowning victims, falls from the mountain, things like that. You guys are putting in a great helipad. I think all of that is wonderful. And personally, I am so excited to see so many people turn out, truly interested in taking your lead, and let's join together as citizens of Stokes County and determine what is best for us, whether it be in this location, north of the mountain, or in King. I think we should all be open to everybody else's suggestions and maybe sit back and discuss what could work, what might not work. But at any case, the citizens of Stokes County from one end to the other will be the winners if we all work together, get along, and do what is in our hearts as caregivers to provide the best care possible to as many Stokes County citizens as possible. Thanks.
Thank you. Tillman?
Good evening, Commissioners. I stand before you today with much on my heart and mind. I address you all today as Commissioners, but have been addressing this board in a dual role, as you know, as the Administrator of Stokes Reynolds Hospital to the Board of Trustees since March of 2010. You also know me as the nurse who's been at the bedside of your family members up the road, at the hospital or in the emergency room in King from 1989 until it was closed by Pioneer in December of 2015. I made a choice in the 1980s to work at our rural hospital, and it's been a mission field for me, as you all know. I did not set out 6 months ago to be on opposite sides of this proposal process against Tenor Health or Novant. I did start working with my cousin Julie Farmer regarding plans to keep our hospital not only open, but able to remain open into the future. I live in King and would certainly love to have a hospital in King. But I need you to understand that my heart and life's work that I carry forward from the work my mother started in the 1970s is for the entire county to have access to health care. I believe there has to be a way for this to be accomplished. When I tell you I know this county and how to operate a critical access hospital, you all know that I have been here since 2004 when the transition to a critical access hospital occurred. I've worked in this area as the administrators who were my peers and friends had to close the doors of their critical access hospitals in Yadkin County, in Patrick County, and in Washington County. When Pioneer declared bankruptcy in 2016, I was in Raleigh the next morning with an audience of licensure, CON, and the Office of Rural Health with the request for them to work with me to make sure that Stokes did not become a closed hospital. So you know that when it comes to saving our hospital, I'm a fighter. We came through that period with the help of many great people as an open hospital. Over the last 2 years, I've been at the bedside of emergency room patients who have looked into my eyes as they survived severe allergic reaction, heart attack, or other serious illnesses, as it dawned on them that they survived because our hospital was here. So they looked into my eyes and said, I wouldn't have made it somewhere else if you all hadn't been here. You all have to make sure that this hospital is here. Our proposal from Stokes Medical Management Group had some unique items such as daycare and adult daycare. I would not have been able to start my career here at our hospital if daycare had not been available right up here at our hospital 35 years ago. So for a healthy workforce, I believe that some of these items are important for us to be able to have workers in rural Stokes County. As we prepared our proposal, we knew that as a new entity, we would need to have some investors and build the business in Danbury to achieve some of the goals building and rebuilding services in King and throughout the county would require. It did not occur to us to list the millions of dollars that we would need to invest to accomplish that. With local investors and lending commitments, we have been able to budget numbers that would match the numbers that are mentioned in the Novant proposal. We are committed to having a minimum of that amount of investment in our county. We've worked hard to establish funding sources to meet these goals and will continue that work. We pledge to invest the economic development and success of our county. Finally, May 13th, 20 years ago, is the date my mother lost her battle to cancer. At that time, she was the administrator of Stokes Reynolds Memorial Hospital and had served in that role for over 25 years. So the future of healthcare in Stokes County is both personal and professional for me. So finally, I encourage you to carefully consider each proposal and hold each of us accountable for our plans today that will impact the healthcare of my county for the next 5, 10, 20, and years beyond. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark Stafford.
Thank y'all. I think probably one of the worst things the SMMG group did is consider asking a lawyer to speak before you, and that's me. But there is a reason, and it is this. I practice in Winston-Salem from Kernersville. But more importantly, I don't know much about the menu at the Dan River Diner, although I'm intending to. But I can tell you this. The reason I'm wanting to talk to you is I've had 34 years working with healthcare providers and entities, from Nashville to Tallahassee, Asheville to New Hanover. And in all of those years, I've seen a lot of change, and you all too. And the days where every one of us has gotten good care from Novant or somebody in our family, ain't no doubt. And if you all think that the amount of money somebody's got to open practices and urgent cares, which by the way, take away from your hospital revenue and emergency room, but if that's your issue, give this to Novant. Just do it. There's a logic. But the days when we knew that there was an entity on one end of Hawthorne Road in Winston-Salem that focused on two things, Forsyth Hospital and Medical Park, they long gone. The issue of who's going to get attention, what is stable. I would submit to you, big health systems have become one of the most risky things for a small community to involve itself with and attempt to do it long term. The proposal from Novant says they have $4 billion in unrestricted cash investments. They just committed to spend $2.4 billion of that in Hilton Head, Beaufort, South Carolina, and Charleston. They mention on page 10 of their proposal a partnership for 65 clinics to help with senior care. They didn't tell you it's going to be in Louisiana and Pensacola. All right? And they wanted to talk about resources they have. We need nurses in this county, just like all of us, and tried desperately. And I'd submit to you, all know the books and records, that we got to find a way to pay in Stokes County higher salaries. To that end, in the Business Journal of the Triad last August, someone was quoted on behalf of Novant. It says in some of their facilities they have a 40% vacancy rate in nursing positions. In Buncombe County, however, they just announced they are going to build a hospital. Ain't built one in this area since 2013 in Clemens. They're going to build one, 26 beds. Now, Buncombe County has Mission Hospital set there. It's very competitive, but they're willing to put the money there. In this proposal, they never commit to help you build a new hospital. Why not do it in an area where they wouldn't have the competition? What's the long-term goal for this county? I will also say to you that in stability, they have a lot of doctors. You see it in their proposal. Let's not forget, though, in 2019 in Huntersville, 42 of those doctors left and formed their own group there. And the leader of them was quoted as saying, what we want to do is create a value system around the patient so that we are not having to see so many patients throughout the day. End of quote. They're not alone like this. I'm not just picking on them. Atrium lost 50 doctors just a few years ago in Charlotte. Same thing. All I will tell you, folks, is there is a lot of things, statutory and otherwise, questions that are not answered in that proposal from Novant. Look at those specifics, the specific questions you ask. I think that's the best example of why you need long-term local control. And the reason is, if they can't do better than that, show you more respect and the specific questions you ask on behalf of this county, how can you expect them? How can we rely on them to address the local needs of you folks? Thank y'all.
Thank you. Janet Witt.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank the county commissioners and the county manager for all the hard work on the RFPs and the effort being made to have health care in all areas of our Stokes County. I realize this is a major undertaking along with all your other duties, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak this evening. First of all, I want the Stokes County Commissioners and Mayor McCraw to know from the City of King that I'm absolutely in favor of an emergency department or a 50-bed hospital in King, like in Clemens or in Cartersville. My family owns commercial property in King, and this would be in our favor. With that being said, as the mayor of the town of Danbury, our hospital and emergency room located in the ETJ of Danbury is of most importance not only to our town, but to the surrounding communities that include Westfield, Francis Cove, Lawsonville, Sandy Ridge, Walnut Cove, Pine Hall, and across the Mountain King, too. I've carefully read all three contracts, and two of the proposals I carefully read and researched extensively, and especially Novant's proposal and Stokes Medical Management Group. I want to first express my major concerns with Novant's proposal. I'm not clearly reading or understanding their proposal. It appears that there are many open-ended sentences that gives leeway for Novant to do whatever they deem fit for our community after the lease of the hospital is signed over from the commissioners. For example, no renovations or building of new rooms or emergency department are not given. They're not given a commitment time or a date on the proposals. And everyone knows our hospital is in dire need of repairs and equipment, and bringing in $50 million over a period of 5 years, well, that's a ways down the road and not clearly stated where that $50 million is going, and if all their intentions are, they're just not clearly written, or I'm not understanding it. They could possibly take the $10 million grant money and the CON exempt certificate of need, and after 5 years just do whatever they want. Again, I'm just not clearly understanding Novant's intentions, or if they will even consider building a hospital even in King. What will happen with Pine Hall and J.R. Jones? And it's public record, Novant bought out of bankruptcy around 21 acres of land and building in King beside the YMCA a few years back. I don't understand why that they haven't already built a hospital in King. Our Danbury hospital is not stopping them. Or do they want to take our state of North Carolina 99-bed capacity and $10 million and close our hospital down completely in 5 years? How many people will die if our emergency room in Danbury is shut down? The $5 million given to emergency services leads me to believe they could possibly shut down the emergency room in Danbury. Again, I'm not reading a date and time commitment on their proposal presented. These issues are critical to our whole county's health care. My plea to the county commissioners is, if Novant proposal is considered, please address and clarify on a contract or a letter of intent for commitment dates and or of addressing any issues I've mentioned. The second contract I researched is the Stokes Medical Management Group proposal. This proposal is clearly written to understand they have investors and people that has managed our Danbury's hospital, critical access beds, emergency department, and skilled nursing facilities in our rural area and community for years. And they know exactly how to operate and manage for what our community needs. Our community loves our current clinical and medical staff, and Stokes Management Group has lenders in place and plans for contractors ready to begin building as soon as the lease is signed. Novant, I realize that King may want Novant, and Novant can build their own 50 hospital and 24-hour emergency department in King. That will be amazing. But Danbury is not stopping that from happening. But I want Stokes Medical Management Group.
Amen.
It's a win-win situation for all if we do something to work that out.
Okay, thank you. Jenny Henrik. Take your time.
Do you want to talk from there?
I can.
Okay.
Can I? Is it all right with you?
Yes,
sure.
And probably save some toes, 'cause I'm not the best driver when I'm coming through the crowd. I just want to tell you how Stokes Reynolds Life Bright has impacted my life and the lives of the members of my family. My father, P.J. Leake, was a magistrate here in Stokes County, and he collapsed 2 different times in the magistrate's office over in the government center from congestive heart failure. He had to be flown out 3 times by air care to Baptist Hospital. But before he could be flown out, he had to be taken to Stokes Reynolds Hospital. And all 3 times they saved his life. The doctors at Baptist Hospital said, had he not had that critical care immediately, he would have died en route. So I am thankful for the emergency department and the hospital. A year ago, 11 months ago today, I had to have complete reconstruction of my right ankle. It had been completely demolished by arthritis. They called it end-stage arthritis. And they went in and they took the bone out and they put all sorts of titanium screws and metal pieces in my ankle. I was released from Baptist Hospital the next day, but they said I could not go home. I had to go into a facility because I was not going to be able to wait on myself nor care for myself. They sent me to a place in Winston-Salem that I pray that no animal ever has to darken the door of again. I was mistreated. A nurse came in and the nerves were injured in my right foot during the surgery, and it felt hot every time you touched it, like an electrical surge was going up all the way up my back. I got in there and I asked them when she was changing my bed, and I asked that she not put the sheet on that foot. And instead she flopped it up and flopped it down, and then went and got the blanket and did the same thing, and it landed on my toes. I screamed out in pain and started to cry because I couldn't do otherwise. And she said, "Don't try to tell me how to do my job." I got on the phone and called my daughter and said, "Come get me. I can't stay here." There were other incidences. They withheld pain medication for a day and a half after I got there. Day after surgery, folks. My daughter began to work, and she called Life Bright. And she called a couple of people that we knew. And Life Bright said, "If you can get her up here, we've got a bed for her." I had to call my own transportation because I had to be transported in a wheelchair. And I had to get a van that was equipped for that. The social worker at that place would not call, and she would not help me. And she told the nurses not to help me get my things together and get dressed so that I could leave that place. So, I got to Life Bright. And let me just conclude by telling y'all that I spent a month at Life Bright that saved my life and taught me how to walk and to do for myself and bathe myself. And I had the best nurses on the planet. saved my life and the lives of some nurses out at Mill Creek in Winston-Salem.
Thank you. Thank you. Mike Stewart.
That's all right, I signed, I didn't mean to sign that sheet.
Okay.
I did, I want to make sure I am Olivia Shelton on that sheet.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yes, you are. You're next. Come on up.
Timely.
Is he supposed to be on?
I'm only wearing one hat tonight. I usually come up here and I have more than one hat on. Tonight's just one hat. Hospital. I'm Olivia Shelton. My husband's Steve Shelton. We live in the middle of Danbury. We moved here exactly 50 years ago, July, to teach school because we had 2 openings in music. He went south, had his 4 schools, 5 schools. I had my 5 schools, which included the brand new then junior, senior high school at North Stokes High School. That was interesting, Ronnie, wasn't it?
It was.
And I do know all of y'all except Brad, but we sat across from each other last week at another governmental meeting due to my husband being on town board. I have also served in that capacity. So now I'm on the hospital advisory committee. I've also served on the Baptist board when Wake Forest University Baptist Health was providing here with Sandra. And I'm humbled to serve with Sandra. I kind of lost my taste for it after Sandra died, I got to tell you that, because it was a similar situation that we have now. We have used all these services. Back in the day, I had all 3 boys here. Back in the day, Steve's granddaddy died here. The emergency room knew our middle son really well because of his asthma. Fire department member carried us from me with that middle child telling the older child to stay with the young one, be good, in a snowstorm. I could not drive it. Fire captain, bless his heart, Donnie Mae drove me in the blizzard to get Matthew breathing treatment. Things like that you just don't forget, and it was always, we had good doctors. We've had nothing but good doctors for us, and now we need a gerontologist, and we had them 30 years ago. But anyway, I just want to share one other thing with y'all. People used to say to me, I was serving a church, and I'm a music person. I was serving a church in Walnut Cove, and I'd go in on Sunday morning, there was a lot of snow still on the roads, and I said, well, how are the roads in northern Stokes County? I said, I don't know, I live in Danbury. Now, y'all know what I'm talking about. Have you driven? We have a tiny place up on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Do you know I drive more miles and more time in Stokes County from Danbury, even the state line, but it's more than halfway before I get into Patrick County. Now, that's crazy, but all that way, is there a hospital within 25, 30 minutes of driving? No, there is now. There's not Surrey. It's too far that way. Patrick County's closed. Henry doesn't exist anymore. My biggest question, and I have served the long-term care facility in many different capacities. Church, playing piano for them. Not that I'm a pianist, but I do. And especially taking my kids there from North Stokes, providing services to them, letting them play a little music therapy. The patrons at the hospital, my kids would note and they would strum, and it was a really good experience. We did a lot of choral work there. I continue to visit. I have lots of needs. Visited Jenny when she was there to provide the upper area with some social needs. But my big question is, will this provider maintain, much less increase, whatever a provider, for our long-term care residents, for our long-term care activities, for the families of the long-term care people who are stuck in the position like Jenny, and here we are 50 years here, so we're really old. We know we're needing more. Physical therapy has been great. I am full of titanium. I have 4 new joints and a new toe thing too. I am very grateful for my great PTs, and they've changed. But I'm most grateful. I just asked you, will this provider, whomever, provide such needs as an older population that has so few people, but such great needs north of Danbury? You ever driven from Asbury to Amostown? Ever driven to Asbury all the way? That's one county line to the other 2 county lines, 2 county lines that way. You go all the way to Anglin Mill. It's Stokes County. Those people have nowhere else. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Raymond Brown.
Hello, folks.
Hey, Raymond.
I just have a brief statement. I want to support Pam Tillman and her group. I think they'll protect integrity of Stokes Reynolds. I don't think we need big business, in my opinion, same as big government, to run Stokes Reynolds Hospital. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Rick McCraw?
Commissioners, thank you for
Rick.
letting us speak. I'm Rick McCraw, Mayor of the City of King, and I'm here tonight to speak in favor of you accepting the proposal that Novant Health has offered Stokes County. Our City of King Council is also in agreement. We're excited about what they can bring to Danbury, Walnut Cove, and King. Novant has a long-standing reputation and familiarity with the Triad. We feel that they are the best fit for our county and will serve our citizens best. We think this will greatly benefit all of Stokes County. If I, as mayor of our City of King and our City Council, can be of any assistance to you in any way, please let us know. Thank you.
Get ready, Rick. Alicia?
Thank you. I'm Alicia Hutchins, representing Novant Health today. Thank you for allowing us to speak. And I just want to start out by saying, as being from a rural area, I actually reside in Pinnacle. I can certainly appreciate those Stokes County, as the previous speaker said, is a very large area and wide. I can appreciate the need for the entire county to have services. And I think that Novant Health has done a really good job laying out and being clear that our proposal extends services for the entire county. And that is what we wanted to be clear in the proposal. I firmly believe that with our proposal, we're eager to make our aspiration a reality and provide all the residents of Stokes County availability to the excellent services that we have to offer. From our robust medical group to our rural healthcare expertise, Novant Health is uniquely positioned to build a healthier future for all Stokes County residents. Our plan outlines our commitment to meeting the needs of the entire county throughout expansion of emergency services, development of specialty and primary care offerings, and much more. We have a powerful history of improving the quality of care in the communities that we serve, and hope to be the preferred choice to revitalize the Stokes Reynolds Memorial Hospital and transform healthcare access for the entire community. Thank you.
So this concludes the public hearing on the hospital. But before we move on, I just want to explain a few things, that there'll be no action taken tonight. There's a process we have to follow. So there'll be no comments, no action, and we'll meet again. That's the day after Memorial Day. Our next is May 28th, is that right? And then it'll be put on the agenda, and then that'll be the next time that we'll be able to do an evaluation and speak more. At this time, if before we go into the regular meeting, if we can take a recess of 5 minutes, if some people want to leave, if you all want to continue to stay for the meeting, that'll be fine too. Okay, we'll stay. Ready?
If we didn't, it probably wouldn't be the end of the world.
Okay, we're back in session. At this time, we're going to the public comment section. First up is Jennifer Hemrick.
Jenny.
Henry?
Jenny.
It's me again.
Okay, all right, okay.
I've been wanting to come and speak with you all about some things that I have observed since I have had this surgery a year ago and have been limited in my abilities. The first time that I ran into something that became very frightening to me was I serve on the Board of Elections, as many of you know, and we had met in the first floor of the government center, and I had to go to the restroom, the rest of them had gone. I went to go out to the doors, and there's a button there that has a wheelchair sign on it, but because that entrance is no longer an entrance unless you've got a badge or whatever, the handicapped accessibility has been disabled, and from the inside a handicapped person cannot get out the door. That is a fire hazard big time. And I thought, well, if this place was on fire, how would I get out? So anyway, that's one thing. The other thing that then was I have two grandchildren who have come to Danbury to live and with their parents, and they are repopulating the town, as it were, and I spend as much time as I can doing things with them. And so one Saturday afternoon, my 4-year-old grandson said, I want to go to the park. So okay, we went down to the park. He wanted to go ride on the swing sets. Y'all put a fence up from where keep people, I guess, from driving on the ball field. And so I couldn't drive any closer to the swings, and I couldn't see them swing it. So I said to them, get back in the car and we'll go around to the parking area. You've got a fence, low fence on that part, so you can't get on this thing across to go under the bridge to go there. So the upshot of it is that if you are a handicapped person, if you wanted to go play on the swing or the slide, you can't do that, and you can't go watch your grandchildren do it either. Just want to make you aware. Then tonight, I leave the Board of Elections meeting, because remember we have a runoff tomorrow, and I come up here, drive up here, and I get my scooter out because it's just easier, and I've been walking right much, and my legs swollen. And I get to the front door of this building, and there's no way to open that door if you are handicapped. If you are in one of these, or you don't have your hands available or whatever, there's not a way to get in this building. Some fortunate person, I was fortunate that somebody came along and was coming up here and they opened the door. I want to make you aware because I'm not aware until I've had to ride so many places. So I just want you to be mindful of and put yourself in somebody else's wheelchair sometime and take a look at what we can and cannot do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sherry Witt, I think she left. She's Olivia Shelton. Julie Morgan. Rebecca Gibson.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Gibson, and I live at 2624 Lynchburg Road. My parents live at 2495 Lynchburg Road, and our farm is on Dan George. And I'm standing before you today to discuss or to talk about the bridge reconstruction that's being proposed at the end of Lynchburg Road and Highway 89. I am biased, and I'm sorry, but I do have older parents, and I do have an aunt who has cancer. Should anything happen to my neighbors or the people that I love, I would prefer that an emergency response team be able to get there as quickly as possible. And if folks will recall, we had not one, but 2 bridges under construction on Dan George Road just a few years back, and there was no traffic. And it was great. I could turn my horses loose and let them run across the road to feed and do what I needed to. But it was, a pretty detrimental thing for people to have to detour around, especially those who were driving to the south side of the county from the north side. And we know that it is detrimental to some. However, for those of us who actually live here full time, the impact would be greater. Do I mind if there's no traffic on my end of the world? No, I do not. Do I mind if there's no trash being thrown in my yard for a change? No, I don't mind that either. And do I care if the continuous racket revving engines are silenced for a bit? No, I don't. However, my personal preferences do not exceed the importance of human life and the proactive responses to a possible tragedy. The wishes of a few do not outweigh the needs of many. The closure of the bridge, despite what the professionals have to say on the matter, will affect emergency response time on our end. A home was just tragically burned to the ground a few weeks ago here on 89, and according to the Fire Chief Jeff Whitaker, the Danbury Fire Department had to go a different way to get to the scene because of the unrepaired hole already on 89. So delayed response time made a difference. There was the complete loss of a home, 2 vehicles, one of which belonged to Forsyth County, and the loss of a pet because of a detoured route. Because we're located between fire stations, typically when something happens in our area, everyone comes, like everybody. But Danbury is the closest fire department to us. They'd have to go all the way around by Hanging Rock or through, well, they can't get to us through Austinville anymore if that's shut down, so they'll have to go by Hanging Rock, which will take up more miles, more minutes to a response time. Francisco will have to go via Horseshoe and Fry Roads, which increases their response time as well. Fire trucks do have to turn at intersections to make that turn because they're large vehicles. So just because Google Maps says that it takes this many minutes to get there, you can't really put much stock in that until you actually drive it yourself. Concerning schools, what will buses have to do to get to Nancy Reynolds each day since Lawsonville is being shut down? How will school-age drivers coming from the eastern part of the county get to North each day without incurring significantly diverse road conditions, especially for a new driver? Because let me tell you, Fry Road and Horseshoe and all of those roads up in there are not the same as a straight shot. How will emergency response vehicles be able to respond effectively and efficiently to the issues on this side of the bridge? I'm certain the company hired to complete the construction will do whatever it can do to protect the environment. It isn't like they haven't built numerous bridges in our county before over major navigable waterways. And they will be conscientious of the area that they're working in and will protect the water and the area to the absolute best of their ability. And as far as discharges needed to break through hard rock after the jackhammer has been exhausted, that goes on the end, despite what some untrained people think, the entire end of Lynchburg Road will not be a high-budgeted Hollywood action movie. Let's allow the experts in the field to do their job in peace. My commute will also be, to an extent, effective. It will require Fry Road to Horseshoe, Horseshoe to George, and then George Road to finally get to 89 so I can make my way to Patrick County. And it will increase my commute by 10 minutes. As a tax-paying resident of Stokes County, my concern lies with the protection of humanity, and not so much as preferential wants, but specific needs. The entire county's needs should be considered as opposed to just a few. Thank you for your time.
At this time, this closes the public comment section. And at this time, we'll go to our comment section for the conflict of interest. Pardon me?
Oh, no, gotta do comments.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're going to do the comments for the commissioners. I'll start with Commissioner Mendenhall.
Sure. Just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I certainly expected a big crowd, and I'm glad we had one. It shows me that there is interest in the county when things of this magnitude come up, that people will come out and speak up and speak their mind and express their opinion. And that's what America is about. People should be able to come out and express how they feel about things. And I just want to say thank you for coming out. And for everybody that's watching on YouTube, I want to say thank you for taking time out of your schedule at home, watching us on YouTube. And at our next meeting, I think Commissioner Wood and I are going to try to put together, all the 5 commissioners would, I think they will go along with us. Julia McKenzie was here tonight. We called him Coach Mac when I was principal at North Stokes High School for 7 years. He was our tennis coach, and he was just inducted into the North Carolina Hall of Fame recently. And hopefully, if it's okay with all the commissioners, I invited him to come back to our next meeting and maybe do a little presentation if everybody's okay with that. And but thank y'all for coming, and it means a lot to me that you are concerned enough about the things we're discussing tonight that you came out. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I won't correct you anymore when you don't make mistakes.
You don't get to do that.
I'd like to welcome everybody that's here tonight as well for coming out and participating in our meeting, whether you're online or in person. Also, like to thank all the folks who provided comments in the public hearing and our regular public comment section. We listen carefully to what you say, and we appreciate your participation. Thank you very much. Commissioner Wood.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming. Was impressed with the crowd. I've been in the crowd in the past. Trust me, it's different up here. I don't want to miss anybody, but I want to say all the high schools in the county, and I apologize to Early College, I couldn't go to their graduation, but the spring sports, I'm not going to start going over them because I'll miss somebody, but they're doing great, and congratulations to everybody. And there's a guy at South Stokes that coaches basketball, just won All Northwest basketball coach. So congratulations to him. That's all I got, and thank everybody for coming.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for being here, and those who are watching online, and those who came and expressed their opinions about the hospital proposals. And in the next couple of weeks, we got a lot of work to do to keep looking through those proposals and getting input from the citizens. So I encourage anybody that maybe didn't get to talk tonight that may have a strong opinion one way or another could call or email us to let their voices be heard on the matter. And as Jenny said, there is a runoff election tomorrow, so remind everybody to go vote tomorrow. That's important. And in regards to the handicap accessibility, about 7 years ago, coming August, when we were building everyone's playground in King, I fell in a hole and broke my tibia, fibula, and my ankle. So when you are incapacitated like that, you do realize the limits of the accessibility, and you bring up some really good points and things that we do need to address and look into. As far as the park goes, I think that's something we need to to look into. But when the bridge is moved there as well, we've been talking about trying to get some grant money to revitalize Moortalk Park at some point. And when we do that, I'm sure we can make it everything that we do there handicap accessible, and that's very important. So, but in the meantime, because that may be down the road a bit, we still need to look into the things that you've mentioned and how we can address those. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. I think this is Correction Officers Week. So thank you to all the corrections officers that we have, and that's definitely a job that very few will take, and it's a very needed job, and we appreciate them. So that's all I've got.
Thank you. Real quick, thanks for everybody for coming out, especially taking time out of your busy schedules and your life to come here and express your opinions. And I know sometimes, we may not agree on everything with the subject matter, but we do consider it, and we do take our job seriously. We try to do as much research as we can to make the best decision at that location or at that time. It's not something that we take lightly. But it helps. It really helps when we get various people giving various viewpoints. It really does. And just like tonight, especially with the handicap camp stuff, I think it kind of sticks out and it points out. So, we'll be looking into those and try to take care of that as soon as possible. And again, touching off, it's National Peace Officers Memorial Week, and it's in D.C. It's the 36th annual. John F. Kennedy is the president. He's the one that signed it in to legislation. The officers and families, they started arriving last night, and the thing that I hope everybody remembers, it's the police officers that get up every day and they put that badge on, they go to work, and they don't know if they're going to come home. And it doesn't matter if you're in an urban area or if you're in a rural county area. It's just as dangerous. And the sad thing is, and I've seen it time in and time out in my career, that it doesn't just affect the wife, but it affects the kids. Because the kids that are growing up, they've lost their father or their mother. And it's a cycle that sometimes is hard to break due to the fact that losing a parent, especially in a traumatic way, does have psychological things that last for quite a while. So please keep the families and the police officers in your prayers. That's all I have, and we'll move on. Except for our manager is to make a comment.
I'll just keep it brief. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you to those watching live stream. I hope all the mothers had a happy Mother's Day. I know I got to spend some much needed time with mine and both my grandmothers, who thankfully are still living. I did want to remind everybody that Stokes County offices will be closed on Monday, May 27th for observance of Memorial Day. So, thank you.
All right, this time I'm going to read the conflict of interest statement. Before moving further, does any board member have a conflict with any of the items on the agenda for tonight, or one that could be perceived as a conflict of interest? No. Okay. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. This time we'll go to the information agenda, and it's Habitat for Humanity and Katie Tedder. Please come up. Thank you.
Hello again. Nice to see you all again. Habitat for Humanity is full of servant leaders, and our very own executive director, Mindy Alexandra, is one of those as well. Mindy and her family have lived in Stokes County since 1995.
Her and her husband Joel have 3 children and 6 beautiful grandchildren. One of those 6 was just born a few hours ago that she hasn't even met yet. She started her career as a healthcare administrator in a long-term care facility. Having gone through several buyouts and a layoff in the for-profit sector, she discovered her true passion, which was volunteerism. Unfortunately, that doesn't pay very well. And it did, however, open the door to cultivating great relationships in the nonprofit sector. Mindy has been serving in the nonprofit sector for over 14 years. After serving as a volunteer for 2 years and then the Association Director of Development for the YMCA of Northwest North Carolina for 10 years, she joined Habitat for Humanity in 2002. Mindy has been the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity in Stokes County since January 2023. And Mindy will come up here now and we can tell you that on behalf of the Executive Committee of Habitat, we are delighted that she is leading our group now. She runs us ragged. Sandy and I can tell you that, but it's all for good and it's all for the community. And with further ado, Mindy Alexander.
Hello. Thank you all for having us this evening, and thank you, Katie. Along with me this evening is our chairperson, as Katie mentioned, Sandy Smith, Katie Tedder, our secretary, and your very own tourism marketing director, Tori Mabe. We want to first let you know some facts about Habitat for Humanity. One of the major misconceptions about Habitat is that we build houses for the homeless. The houses we build are not free, and we do not build for the emergent homeless person. We do build according to any other home building guidelines, specifications, and codes. Our materials, while some may be donated, are new and quality materials. Our applicants must go through a mortgage application process, and families in need of safe and affordable housing apply for homeownership and are selected based on 3 main criteria: the level of need, their willingness to partner, and their ability to repay a mortgage through an affordable payment plan. The homes are appraised for their fair market value as any other traditional home, and the advantage of a Habitat mortgage is a low or no interest repayment plan. Our home buyers are low to moderate income families in Stokes counties that do not qualify for a traditional mortgage. You can see the financial criteria on the brochures that we've given out. This is based on family size and gross income. Habitat homeowners help build their own houses alongside volunteers and pay an affordable mortgage. Anyone over the age of 18 is expected, and that will live in the home, is expected to help with the 200 hours of sweat equity hours, and that's a minimum during this process. We also have incentive programs for the younger children that aren't allowed on the job sites to participate in that help reach those goals for maybe some single parent families. And it also gives the kids a little taste in what it's like to be part of that process as well. While there can sometimes be a stigma around a Habitat home and or partner families we serve, several of our home buyers work for our county, our school systems, local manufacturing companies, and local medical providers. Our local Habitat for Humanity currently staffs 5 full-time and 2 part-time employees. Our board of directors currently has 14 members that meet monthly, with each member serving on at least 2 committees. Committees are also composed of community volunteers. Habitat for Humanity of Stokes County recently celebrated our 25th anniversary. Thank you, Mr. Chandler, Mr. Wood, and Mr. Morris for attending the milestone event. We also recently dedicated our 19th home right here in Danbury. This home was built for a Stokes County school employee, Shannon Wilson, and her 3 children. It is a 4-bedroom home that appraised for $290,000. This was our largest dedication ceremony to date. Thank you, Mr. Wood, for attending. I would like to extend an invitation to you all now to attend our 20th home dedication that is right next door to the Wilsons' home. This is going to be held on May 23rd at 4:30 p.m. We hope you can all attend, congratulate our homeowner, and tour the home. We recently closed on our Dalton Road office space to bring together all Habitat staff under one roof at our Restore, located at 1080 Old Highway 52 South in King. You know what? Did I start that? I apologize. Thank you, Tori. If you have never had the opportunity to visit our Restore, please do. In addition to helping to eliminate the amount of waste that goes into our local landfills by repurposing and reusing, the Restore plays a vital role in helping to fund the mission of building homes, communities, and hope. We are blessed to have donations coming in daily. A recent estate sale has donated a plethora of exciting inventory and has even included a monetary gift that we should be receiving soon. So we're very excited about that. We strive to come up with new ways to serve our community. We recently rearranged our space to add a book nook. The Restore is now Stokes County's newest bookstore, and we're excited about that. The space is managed by a volunteer retired librarian, and it is also being decorated by a local artist who will be painting murals and building new shelves and storage for the space. While we are sad to see her go on a new venture, we are proud of the 10 homes that have been constructed under the leadership of our construction coordinator, April Shelton. And these last 4 homes that you're seeing pictures of right now were under her leadership. We are therefore in the process of hiring a new construction coordinator, and we have very exciting goals for them to meet over the next few years. While our first 20 homes have been single-family homes, we're proactively looking at mixed-use communities and to potentially include duplexes and townhomes. We will also be expanding this role to not only build more single-family homes, but to spearhead a community revitalization program, and so that qualifying applicants can have and we're also planning on including a repairs program too, so that qualifying applicants can have minor repairs done to their homes and repairs that can help them stay longer in their homes as their needs are changing. We are working very hard to build not only homes but more relationships with community partners. This past February we held our first of what we hope to be an annual event called Feed the Faith, Build the Community. With the very generous help of one of our most valued volunteers, Dennis Ruff, and a magical crew composed of members from 10 community churches, we met our goal of selling 1,000 dinner tickets at this very first event. It was one of the most rewarding fundraising events that we have coordinated. Another partnership that we're very proud of is with Stokes County School System. Stokes County Schools Career Development Program and Habitat Board member Sonia Langford's efforts in getting students hands-on experience has been a great benefit to Habitat Stokes. Over the last few years, students in trades-related classes have come to Habitat work sites to get real-world experience in a field that they are considering as a career. Students from North, South, and West Stokes High School have participated in the home building process on all of those houses that you just saw. They've assisted in various stages, including the block foundation, the floor systems, wall building, insulation install, and landscaping. Some have even had the opportunity to interact with our county inspectors, and that was beneficial on both sides. Our inspectors really enjoyed that. In addition to the students helping with the builds, their classmates in the food and nutrition classes have prepared their lunch and brought it out to the build sites as well. We also have student interns and occupational course of study students working at the Restore. We have those students come 4 days a week and work at the Restore. Another fresh program that we have in the making is partnering with Southeastern Middle School's shop teacher, Rob Birchfield. While these students are too young to volunteer on a build site or in the Restore, we are cultivating ideas for the students to repair and recycle items to sell at the Restore. Providing the materials for the students that the Restore staff may not have the time to repair or make sellable helps to ensure that those items are kept out of the landfill, as well as contributing no-cost projects to the school system. Along with the hands-on experience,
These students are learning more about Habitat's mission and how it impacts our county. The ability to have a symbiotic relationship with Stokes County schools in such a profound way has opened the doors for many other ideas. We are sure Mr. Mendenhall can truly appreciate this partnership with his beloved school system. As a nonprofit, we rely heavily on our community, volunteers, state and federal grant opportunities, and our own fundraising efforts. We are very fortunate to have had so many local businesses and individuals donate to one of our largest events that will be this Friday. Our 24th annual Bricks and Sticks Golf Classic will be this Friday at Hemlock Golf Club in Walnut Cove. We would like to thank Mr. Morris for participating in past tournaments, Mr. Wood for sponsoring teams, and Ms. Cox for always being a contributing sponsor. Another one of our recent and very exciting partnerships is with the Home Builders Association of Winston-Salem. As co-chair for the Stokes Alliance Group, we welcome local home builders, realtors, and other construction-related businesses to join our monthly meetings held at Restore. The Home Builders Association of Winston-Salem recently held their annual cornhole tournament at the Restore, and it was such a huge success that they now want to continue to have it every year in Stokes County. You all will be receiving an invitation to the Stokes County elected officials meet and greet that will be hosted by Home Builders Association of Winston-Salem Stokes Alliance, and it's a paneled forum that will be moderated by TREVIC, or the Triad Real Estate Building Industry Coalition. It's a coalition of industry professionals advocating for responsible development, sustainable growth, and vibrant communities. We would like to give you, as the Board of County Commissioners, along with other municipal leaders, the opportunity to share about your vision and goals for Stokes County, for our future centered around construction activities such as planning, inspections, environmental health, and other topics, as Stokes County continues to see a significant growth in population and development. The event will be held at the Arts Place, August 1st at 6 p.m. An additional exciting event that HBA of Winston-Salem is taking part in for Habitat for Humanity of Forsyth County, and you all may have seen this, is the Builders Blitz that's going on. In just 5 days, local builders have teamed up to help build 5 homes in the historic Habitat or Happy Hill neighborhood in Forsyth County. The 5-day, 5-home blitz will change the lives of 5 Forsyth County families who have met the challenge for completing Habitat's homeownership program requirements to purchase one of these new homes. If you get the opportunity, please go by. It's this week that they're doing that. We hope to do something similar here in Stokes County. To fulfill this dream, we will need enough buildable acreage to do so, and we have faith that the community will come together and help make this possible. While we plan and prepare for that big adventure, we will begin our next Homing King on an acre of land that was generously donated to our affiliate. Our latest 2 homes in Danbury that we've been discussing, 19 and 20, were also built on donated land. Because of the generosity of the Robertson family, 2 Stokes County families have a safe and affordable place to call home. So to all those here tonight and viewing, if you know of any landowners who would like to donate or sell at a lower cost, at least 1 acre of land, please send them our way so that we can continue building for more families in Stokes County. As you are probably aware, we as Habitat for Humanity of Stokes County are the only affordable housing opportunity in the county. We do not have a housing authority like neighborhood counties. Maybe one day we, along with you, can help explore this as an option to help those in need of safe and affordable homes. Along with our generous donors, we rely heavily on our volunteers and build teams. I recently had the opportunity, thanks to Mr. Brian Boo, to speak to our county volunteer firefighters and EMS about Habitat. And it's groups like these that we want to get together and create build days and build groups and build challenges. You know, it's another way to bring the community together in all aspects of the county in every area, because we do build in every area. We have individuals and families regularly calling our office asking for our assistance. And unfortunately, we can't help everyone because of our limited resources. But for those that we can help, it helps us strive to
meet our mission of seeking to put God's love into action by bringing people together to build homes, communities, and hope. Habitat for Humanity of Stokes County is vision in action. To be part of this organization is to see no limitations as to where and how you can be engaged in the community. There's every direction you look, you can find engagement. Community involvement is key to the success of Habitat as we work to alleviate the affordable housing crisis by helping to build successful and thriving neighborhoods. Thank you all again for welcoming us this evening, and we look forward to new ways to partner with you as any county needs. We'd be happy to entertain any questions, but I know that was a lot. So,
Mr. Cox, you want to start?
I don't have any questions. I think you covered it all very thoroughly, but I appreciate the work y'all do, and I'm not a golfer, but I can sponsor a hole. So
and I
that's what
appreciate
do.
that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We appreciate all of y'all's hard work.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wood?
Great job. I appreciate what y'all do. Are you accepting any new challenges? I got one for you.
What's your challenge?
There's a men's shelter being started in Sandy Ridge. Only one in the county. The county desperately needs a woman's center for abused women and children. I don't like where they're having to stay now. It's not a home. And we get the county and churches and the Surrey County Coalition, which they are doing tons of stuff in Surrey money. We need to get more of their money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your challenge. I'll find the land. Okay?
Yeah. It's definitely a partnership opportunity for sure. We can build. You find the land, we can build it, and somebody can operate it. Absolutely.
Mr. Morris?
Thanks for your presentations. You guys really do great work. And my only question is, what time is the dedication on the 20th? Did you?
4:30.
4:30. Okay.
On the 23rd, right?
3rd, right? Yeah. Good. I'll try to attend that if I can.
Okay, great. I would love for you to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mendenhall?
I just want to say that y'all do a tremendous service to Stokes County. People that have their lives changed forever thanks to the work y'all do. I would just say kudos to you. I certainly know some of your staff, and they have nothing but great things to say about you.
Oh, thank you.
And so to you, I say thank you for the job y'all are doing. I wish to goodness I could have come. I congratulate Keith and Brad and Rick for being able to go. But I will be just up front. Sonia knows this because she has called me. My wife has been in and out of the hospital for the last 3 weeks. She's having a severe respiratory pneumonia, and I actually had to have someone stay with her tonight to come to the meeting because I had y'all's date marked down at your last meeting on my calendar to come to.
Well, thank you.
I was coming. I'm sorry I didn't make it.
Oh, I understand.
But as soon as I can get my wife's health back to where it needs to be, I will be at your next one.
Well, thank you, and I send up prayers for your wife.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the work that you do for the county. And what I really like about the program is that it's not just a give out. It's, there's participation, and you bring the community together with different, between the volunteers and the project coordinator. And I think what it does, it's not just one segment of the community that you're tapping that resource. It's the whole county. And for that, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you all again for having us this evening.
Next, under the discussion agenda, it's bridge number 37 replacement project on Highway 268. Does anyone want to start out talking about any questions or any comments or?
Man, I'd be glad to start, but I have gone over this several times, and I appreciate the people that have come out and expressed their opinions on both sides. Heard tonight and in the past, people that have differing opinions. As I said earlier, that is one thing that is great about our country, is we're able to differ, but at the same time, be able to get along. So to the people that came out last time and the people this time, expressed their recommendations on whether it should be resolution 1 or 3. I just say thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all very much, and that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Morris. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think everybody knows my position on this if they attended the last meeting, but I would still join Mr. Mendenhall and telling everybody I respect both sides of this argument. It's basically just kind of a risk decision. It's really two imperfect options that we have, but after evaluating the temporary versus the permanent nature of keeping the road open, the environmental impacts, I take the individual property rights probably more seriously than most people do. And I realize there's times we have to do eminent domain and take property or whatever for the good of the public. But when we don't have to do that, then I think we should really try to respect the property owner's rights as much as we possibly can. Like I said, I'm sympathetic to both sides. It's a risk decision based on like some of the comments that were made tonight. And unfortunately, we get stuck making risk decisions pretty frequently. But to me, the temporary nature of closing the bridge in place versus the permanent impacts of doing the others, trying to keep it open for that year, leads me to the position that I think we should just close it, fix it as quick as we can, and keep it in place in the same location that it's in.
Thank you. Commissioner Wood?
Before I say my decision, I'm going to fuss at DOT. We have asked for several things to be done in this county, and they responded no. But yet they throw this in our lap, and I don't like it. There's not a landowner in here that wants their land to be taken by the state. So I've come up with a few things other than I talked to Dr. Rice. He don't have a problem, but I know people do. So here's what I asked the DOT to look at. They're saying 12 to 14 months to do replacement in place. Number one, is there any way to keep one lane open? I stole your thunder, I know. Number two, it cannot be closed until 89's fixed. There's no, and they said last week that would be done. All right, the third thing, start the project in May. That means schools will be out, and so for 3 months, school buses and kids don't have to worry about the detour. Then, if it takes 14 months, there's 3 more months they don't have to ride on it. So add Christmas break and spring break, there's another 3 months. So the school buses only have to drive over it for 5 months with the detour till it's done. But I am for replacing in place.
Fox?
Yep, thank you. Well, I've had lots of calls about this and emails and talked to people in the school system, and it appears that they do not want to be, they don't want anything in writing stating one way or the other. Is that correct, Amber? That they're for it or against it, closing it. They said they'll make their adjustments, which means entirely longer bus rides for kids, especially that from Lawsonville being closed, they have to go to Nancy Reynolds now. And not to mention the North Stokes and Piney Grove kids that will be impacted as well with their longer bus rides. But one thing that really stands out to me is my GPS doesn't work over here in a lot of places. My phone doesn't have a signal. I can't always get around over here, except for luckily I've put out enough political signs for over 15 years, so I kind of know where everything's at. But I keep thinking about people who come here for tubing and to visit Hanging Rock, and people coming to their kids' ball games at Piney Grove and at North Stokes that don't know these roads and don't know the back roads and maybe they don't know how to follow detour signs. Not all of us are gifted in the area of being able to figure. We're directionally challenged, yes. So, that being said, I think there is that component of not being able to sometimes even get a signal out to call somebody, much less follow our GPS, would be troublesome. But what really stands out to me is, over in King, when they closed Meadowbrook, they said it was going to be about a year. It was longer. It's always longer than the DOT tells you it's going to be. And I talked to Kyle Hall about this as well, to reiterate what I already knew. Basically was about how many complaints and people that called his office repeatedly trying to get him to put pressure on DOT to do it quicker, and how many complaints there was. But there was at least one instance that I know of personally where a man had a heart attack that his family believes he would have survived had they not had to reroute EMS, and it took about 8 or 10 minutes longer for him to get help, and he passed away before he could get to the hospital. So, that being said, even with people who are coming to Danbury for critical care, they're going to have to find a different way to get to the hospital. It's going to take them longer if they drive themselves or whatever. So, just based on what I know about how long Meadowbrook took, and there was no option to replace it in place. But because I think this is a viable option that DOT recommends, because I can tell you Pat Ivy's going to throw us under the bus on this. They will not own their decision. It will be, this is what your Board of Commissioners wanted, so this is what we did. So I'm for the option of leaving the road and the bridge open while the new bridge is constructed. That's me.
So it's a hard decision, but I'm not in favor of taking a man's land and go farther, to the north. And then you got environmental concerns that we listen to up here. And trust me, I was in public safety for 30 years. There's always a risk in certain things, and I certainly, want to make sure that our first responders have, the quickest and the best access to get there. And I'm sure that our EMS director and the sheriff, that, they'll make sure that we have the proper resources in place to get to those scenes as soon as they can. As far as impacts, it'll impact me every day. I go by there every day. Most of the time, 2 or 3 times a day. And Highway 89 impacts me right now too. I have to do detours, and it is frustrating. And I get what everybody's saying. I wish I could come up with a perfect solution, but eminent domain is necessary in government at times. But I don't like the overreach and going that far to the north. And then also, I do think that it's going to be an environmental impact. as it was stated when we had the public hearing last meeting about it. So at this point, I'll entertain any motions if anyone wants to move it to action, or if we want more.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to move this item to action tonight.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Can you put it to action? Next, we got the Wyvetti Board of Directors appointment request, and our county manager will present.
So, the executive director of Wyvetti, Kathy Payne, reached out to me and requested that Commissioner Chandler be reappointed to the Wyvetti Board of Directors. He was appointed last year, as we, I think, appointed many different commissioners to different committees and boards. But the term follows the seat and not the person, so we just need to take action to reappoint him to another 3-year term unless another commissioner would, unless there's some other discussion or another commissioner. And this is a commissioner appointment, so we haven't advertised it on the website or anything, just because it is for a sitting commissioner. So.
Well, my suggestion is this, the last sentence is, the last two sentences are very important to me. It says, since this is a commissioner appointment, it is not advertised to the public as an open vacancy. If the board could move this item to the action agenda today, it would be beneficial for everyone's timeline.
That's true.
We need to do what we normally do, is help get this moved to action today.
If possible, yes.
If possible. Mr. Chairman, that's just a
Yeah, I'll entertain a motion to do that.
Okay, I make a motion that we move it to action today.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None. Motion carries. Go to action.
Thank you.
All right. So now we're under the action agenda. So the Stokes County Aging Planning Committee appointment. At the last meeting, Tom Southern and Virginia Southern were nominated to serve on the Stokes County Aging Planning Committee. No more applications have been received. So at this time, I'll poll the board.
Since they have the same last name, I'm going to use both first name and last name.
Okay.
Tom Southern and Virginia Southern.
I'm Southern, Virginia Southern.
Tom Southern and Virginia Southern.
Tom Southern, Virginia Southern.
Tom Southern and Virginia Southern.
All right. Next up is Walnut Cove Senior City Advisory Council appointments. At the last meeting, Kimball McKeechin and Diane, and I'm going to mess up this last name, Gratkowski, and Jenny Deese were nominated to fill vacancies on this council. No more applications have been received, so we'll poll the board.
Glad to go first, Mr. Chairman. McGurchin, Gratkowski, and Deese.
Gerchin, Gurkowski, and Deese.
McCurchin, Gorowski, and Deese.
I'm not stupid. Kimberly, Diane, and Jeanette.
Smarter than me.
Kimball, Diane, and Janine.
Do I have the proclamation? All right, this time I'm going to read the proclamation recognizing Foster Care Month. Whereas the youth of Stokes County are our most precious resource and hope for the future, and all children deserve a safe, loving, and maturing place to call home. And whereas children have a right to thrive, learn, and grow in a safe and loving environment. And whereas the primary goal of foster care is to provide safe, secure, and stable homes through the compassion and nurturing of a foster family or kinship family. And whereas foster parents provide the love, safety, and stability that children need in order to overcome past traumatic experiences in order to reach their full potential. And whereas Stokes County currently has 93 children and youth in foster care being cared for in foster homes, group homes, and kinship family homes throughout the state and beyond. Whereas we must come together as a community to recognize the important role foster parents play in caring for children who have experienced abuse and neglect, supporting family unification, and building strong communities. And whereas there is a critical need for foster parents in order to ensure all children, especially older youth, children with complex needs, and siblings have a safe, stable home in their community. And whereas there are numerous individuals, nonprofit organizations, and public servants who are dedicated to raising awareness about the needs of the children and youth in foster care. And whereas through partnerships with families, child welfare staff, and public and private agencies, there's a collaborative effort to ensure that children are supported and successful. Now, therefore, we, the Stokes County Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as Foster Care Month in Stokes County and urge all citizens to recognize the foster parents, child care, welfare professionals, and advocates working to ensure children's safety, well-being, and permanence, and to spread awareness on behalf of the thousands of children in foster care in North Carolina, dated this 13th day of May 2024. All right. And last but not least, we got a proclamation recognizing EMS Week.
Do you mind taking a vote on that first?
Oh, okay. Okay, we can do that.
Make a motion that we support the proclamation recognizing foster care month.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. To designate the week of May 19th to the 25th, 2024 as Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas Stokes County Emergency Medical Services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical service teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventive medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine, and whereas the emergency medical service system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of emergency service medical service teams with a career volunteer engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills, and whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services provided by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now, therefore, the Stokes County Board of Commissioners, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 19th through 25th, 2024 as an Emergency Medical Services Week, with the theme Honoring Our Past, Foregoing Our Future. I encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. And that was from Brandon Gentry, our EMS Director. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Good job, by the way.
Need a break. Okay, so now we need to, let's see.
The next item is the bridge number 37 replacement project.
Okay.
And there's two resolutions, so I guess just be specific in what your motion is, which resolution you're making a motion for.
Okay, so let's do the, can we do the motion on the,
I'll make a motion that we approve alternate 3 replace in place.
Second. All right. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. 4-1.
And that should be good for that.
Pardon me?
And that should be good for that. You don't have to do the other resolution.
Okay,
Yep,
okay.
That should be good. Thank you.
And then the next action that we carry was my appointment. Is that next?
Yes, the Wyvetti Board of Directors appointment for Commissioner Chandler.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Closed session.
Can you do the
Yes.
rationale?
To consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged pursuant to General Statute 143-318.1183, and to discuss matters relating to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by the public body, including agreement on a tentative list of economic development incentives that may be offered by the public body in negotiations pursuant to General Statute 143-318.1184.
I get a motion to.
Make a motion that we enter closed session.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We're in.
Can we have a
back in open session. Do I have any motions?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve a waiver of conflict of interest for Mr. Tom Stokes, who is now representing the county during our hospital transition process based on his past representation of Novant Health.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Do I have any other motions?
I have one. My motion is to authorize our consortium attorneys in the opioid litigation to amend that complaint to include the pharmacy benefit managers.
All in favor?
I got a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We're now adjourned.